So how do you escape the rat race 9 to 5 job?
From disappointing paychecks to toxic work environments, nobody really wants to sacrifice their life climbing a ladder they can simply try to own. Besides, you're not just some rat. You're a smart person who can do anything you set your mind to. You don't belong in some corporate race for over 30 years of your life, making some disappointing salary. You do not deserve to worry about paying bills and hating an innocent day of the week, Monday. Having a job can make life more meaningful. It gives you a reason to get out of bed in the morning. But wouldn't it be nice if you could choose when to work and when to play? But first, what is a rat race? This is an exhausting weekly routine of trading your time for money for your entire working life. Those in the rat race serve business owners and investors with minimal financial reward in return for manual labor. Everyone hates this because they have to live paycheck to paycheck. Well, life's short. Do you want to spend 40 hours a week for 30 to 40 years working? Wouldn't you rather spend time with friends and family? Don't you wish you could pursue your passions? So let me, for free, help you figure out how to escape the rat race once and for all. Number 7. To quit your 9 to 5 job, first ask yourself, why? We all at some point in our lives hope that we will be free from a 9 to 5 and instead travel the world to our content. Well, even though many have this urge, many are still stuck in their jobs just to pay their bills. In your quest to escape the rat race, you need to know your why. What's the most irritating thing about being in the rat race? Is it the low pay? Maybe it's having a boss. Or you want to leave the toxic corporate environment. When choosing this why, you need to make sure it's burning the fire in you. The biggest life changes happen when you're raging mad. Take Shark Tank's Mr.
Wonderful. Kevin O'Leary, were it not for his boss telling him to clean off gum from the floor in front of his crush, he wouldn't have been a millionaire today. The drive to not want to be pushed over by his bosses throughout his life made him quit and start his own business. So is your why as strong as his? But wait, you can't just up and leave the employment market entirely, unless you've prepared the ground beforehand. The next steps are about preparing. These steps should be undertaken alongside your job and may take a couple of years to set up, so the sooner you start, the better. Number 6. Change your buying habits. You can't escape the 9 to 5 if you keep burying yourself in deeper debt. Differentiate between needs and desires. Start with the notion that you should feel no shame in living modestly. You don't need a huge house with rooms you will never use. You don't need it. Too often, we buy such homes to impress our friends as a status symbol in society. We probably desire it, but we don't need it. Whenever you confront a major purchase, ask yourself, do I need this? Most likely, you will immediately respond, no. Focus first on things that truly need and minimize materialistic desires. Instead, ask yourself this question, what truly makes me happy? It may take a while to find the answer, but once you do, you can then spend without any regrets and few second thoughts. Plus, you can reinvest the money you've saved, growing it 20 times long term. That way, you can attain financial freedom. Instead, you should set aside a certain amount every paycheck to pay yourself first. Maybe that's $100 each pay period. Then, with whatever is left over, you pay your expenses. If you fall short, that will motivate you to step up your game to find a new stream of income so you don't fall into debt. Number 5. Find the right role models. Take this example. You want to be a millionaire or even a billionaire? Well, even though you love and admire your parents, they might not be where you want yourself to be at their age. So instead, get a mentor you want to be like at their age. Robert Kiyosaki is a good illustration of this. He knew his father, a teacher and barely surviving, could not guide him to be wealthy as he himself wasn't. Hence, he sought out help outside from the businessman down the street. Well, we might not all know wealthy people, but we have the internet which can help us with that. From YouTube, we can learn about how the 1% of the rich in the world build their wealth and then emulate it in our lives. You can also learn financial literacy from business channels such as this one, Pia Heza, Graham Stephan, Minority Mindset, just to name a few. Number 4. Acquire assets and start investing. The only way to escape the rat race is to own assets and other forms of income. One of the easiest ways to do that is to let your money work for you. Investing offers passive income, which needs almost no input of time once it is established, and is your 10-year plan to cement and secure your status as financially free. For example, you might buy an online store from exchange that's already proven to generate a profit each month. Or you could invest in stocks when they're affordable. You might choose to buy rental apartments. Check out our playlist for a step-by-step guide, while having a tenant pay for your mortgage each month. Ultimately, you want to acquire asset that will make you money each month so you earn a more scalable income. The asset you acquire could also lead to a big payday one day when you sell it. For instance, if your online store becomes highly profitable, you may choose to sell it for a higher price than you bought it for. The earlier you start, the more money you will snowball. For those about to quit their jobs forever, this extra cash flow will make all the difference. Investments can range from real estate, stocks, starting a business, just to name a few. Number 3. Learn how to sell and market your product. You may have the best product or skill in the world, but if you cannot convince another person to buy it from you, you will still be broke. The most valuable business skill that will help you escape the rat race are sales and marketing. Those who pair their best talents with a sale and marketing skill will be able to escape the rat race once and for all. You can learn how to sell for free from our playlist section on sales. This includes how to build rapport with clients, how to design your website to send subconscious signals increasing sales, and scientific research to back it up. Lastly, how to doublespeak as politicians do to make their controversial deeds seem petty, and as this company used to doublespeak to make over $100 billion in revenue.
So here's the ad in which you see that Lipitor reduced the coronary events and risk for heart disease by 36%. So this was a really important study, the one that ultimately drove Lipitor to generate over $100 billion in revenue. So I'm going to show you the actual data from the study, and it's right here. But here are the actual data from this study. And somewhere in here is a 36% risk reduction when you compare placebo with atorvastatin, the Lipitor. So if you look at survival, you see they're basically identical. No difference in mortality benefit. You see that tiny sliver of a difference between the red and the blue bars? That is a 36% reduction. Yes. This is the wonder drug effect. This is the effect that propelled Lipitor to generate over $100 billion in revenue. How can that be a 36% reduction in risk? When you calculate it and you look at the data, the actual difference is 1.1%. This is where you do some statistical hijinks. You take that 1.1% difference between the groups. Then you have the difference between placebo and 100. If you're not following me, it doesn't matter, because it's silly, right? It's like, so you take the 1.1 divided by 3, what do you get? You get 36. Okay, that's 36%. And that's why they say there is a 36% reduction. And so if you have truth in advertising, I think the 1% should actually be in the ad. Lipitor reduces heart attack by 1%.
Number 2, outsource. There's a huge difference between self-employed and being an entrepreneur. A self-employed person works in their business. In other words, their business is their new job. An entrepreneur owns the business. Or simply put, other people run the business. Rather than replacing your 9-to-5 job with a 9-to-9 self-employment gig, it's important to have help with your business. You should aim to hire people who are smarter than you. For example, if you run a dropshipping business, you want to find the best Facebook ad expert, product description writer, and social media expert. By hiring people who are better than you, you'll help ensure your business's success. Plus, you'll prevent burnout from overwork. If your goal is to escape the rat race, you're going to need some help building your asset anyway. Number 1, commit to it. When you've made up your mind to leave, leave. Your mental health and happiness might demand that you leave a job immediately and get another one in the interim. The day you officially escape the rat race will be a big day in your life. You walk out of your workplace for the last time and take a big gulp of fresh air and think to yourself, freedom. It's a huge moment that not everyone is lucky to experience. Losing the sense of security from your workplace, regardless of whether it was planned or unplanned, can be overwhelming. Even if you've planned this for months, you may find yourself panicking down the road.
So, it's important to create a quick plan for emergencies. There is never a perfect time to leave a job. There's always something happening in the economy, some virus trying to kill you, some poorly timed car or house expense. If you keep pushing back your exit by a few months, you may never leave. You might even be bribed into staying. Often when people quit jobs, they'll be extended an improved offer of money or some other benefit in an attempt to keep them. If this happens, you should remind yourself, why is it that you're trying to leave in the first place? Was it for more money? Or because you hate being trapped and want a better life? Your boss may try to keep you locked in for 3 years by pushing their share option scheme. The scheme is a good value for money, but you need to stay an employee for at least 3 years or lose your benefit. How many will attempt to leave a job they hated after 2 years, a year before a potential $100,000 payout? Other employers will trap you with a qualification scheme where you must agree to stay with them for X number of years after you pass an exam that they've paid for you. Failure to comply will result in huge fees. Do you crave financial freedom or to be working for yourself? What are you doing about it? Let us know in the comments below.